Hello my lovelies and welcome back to Sondering Tarot. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. And apparently it's time for the Three Ships Tapestry to show back up. So for those of you that are familiar with my channel, you probably already know what's coming. But for those of you that don't, the deck we'll be using is listed in the description box down below. Anyway, this is your daily tarot reading for the 24th of September 2024. So let's see exactly what is going on for you. Alright, my lovelies, I am back. All your cards are on the table. There's actually not a lot of cards here, but we have eight major arcana, which is quite a lot, actually. So that's always a call for me to sit up and pay attention to what is going on and what they're trying to say, just because of that. So the best part of your day, you start off with the Four of Wands in the reverse. Death. The Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Swords in the reverse. Okay. That's quite interesting. You may have either felt unsuccessful, or in this case, felt unstable for quite some time. It's like your winning season's not here. Enough things have shifted and changed. The energy all over the place. It's like you can't get your footing. And the energy here is tied into yesterday's reading. So after you watch this, if you did not watch yesterday's, you can go back for it. But I think I titled that video Awareness, Learning, and Faith. But that destability is literally coming to an end. And that's great. Whether that's because we are perceiving more, we're using our own gifts and abilities more, or we're going ahead and faithfully tapping into our own spirit team. Even if the progress may be a little slow at that, young or old, it doesn't matter. We all have a spirit team. We all have those that are there to help and guide us, those where we can seek and learn answers from, as well as those that will help us along our path. That's their job. So perhaps this is us purely realizing we are not alone, or gaining help with our abilities. The Three Ships Tapestry, for those of you that are new for my channel, usually have to deal with spirituality, emotions, because after all, they do say still waters run deep, and here we have a still ocean pretty much at night with the full moon shining on it. And because there's three ships, there's that Three of Wands, the embarking energy, also in the tapestry. So the tapestry kind of gives it away about what possible subject matters we are talking about. But our ability to be whole with the unseen realm, that's what we're discussing. The Queen of Cups, which is our Queen of Spirituality here. Okay. So in shaken times, we turn to faith. When we have a lacking of perception, we turn to our spirit team. We tap into that inner world, that inner knowing. Why? Because that's our compass. That's our guiding light. Those that are there to help guide us. Especially in times of trouble or times where we don't understand. They're there to help. And even if perhaps in our spiritual evolution in this current lifetime, we are a little bit slow to grasp or understand that, they have always been there. From the start, from the get-go, from the moment you were in this vessel that you call a body. They've always been there, patiently waiting, understanding everything that's going on, seeing all that's going on, just ready for you to reach out and contact them, to talk, to help, to guide. And for some of you, you're going to start tapping into that, and you may not clearly understand that. But it's going to happen. You are never alone. The most important thing to know, and I know some people are probably looking around going, Celeste, there's no one else in the room. I am alone. No, you are not alone. I'm not talking about those that are in a body, in a vessel, a meat suit, as it were, like you. I'm talking about those in the second dimension that aren't in a body, that are assigned to assist. So your ancestors, your angels, your spirit guides, all of the above, that's what I'm referring to. Your spirit team. All right, now the worst part of your day. We start off with the Magician in the reverse. The Star in the reverse. The Chariot in the reverse. The Six of Wands. The Eight of Wands in the reverse. The Five of Cups. The High Priestess in the reverse. And the King of Pentacles. Admittedly, a couple of these cards right here showed up in yesterday's reading as well. Not necessarily in the exact same order, but it must be said because the energies are kind of crossing over a little bit. All right. Yeah. For some of you, that's the most difficult thing, is to know and understand that they're always there. You might just embody that pity party of, I'm always alone. There's nobody there to help me. What do you mean? And it's simply because you are lacking that connection right now, or you're not seeing the potential of it. Why? Because you have limits on what you perceive of what's capable in the 3D world. The dimension that you currently live in while you're in a vessel, in a meat suit. So what you perceive is being foreign, unable to happen. In other words, there is no standard or creation capability of this. So that puts everything on the back burner. What should be a great boon for you that would help propel you forward, you neglect it as impossible. So your spirit team, which is there to guide you, has been unable to do so, or at least has been only able to do so in slow increments, because they can only interfere so much without your permission, and only so much on your behalf until that connection is established, or at least you open up to the potential that they are there to help you, to guide you, to be allowed to do more. After all, this is co-creation. When we co-create with the universe, it's not just universal laws we're talking about. It's not just karma we're talking about. It's co-creation between us and our spirit team. It's having that lifeline grounded. And yes, awareness, learning, and faith. Hey, it's literally yesterday's title video. But when that's not there, when it's not established, or it's not nurtured in the right way, that foundation crumbles, and all we're left with is, I'm always alone. And I really want and need somebody to help me, and I don't ever get it. So beware limiting beliefs. Be aware of your reality. Remember, thoughts become things. You create your own reality. Literally, in this dimension, you create your own reality, because the inner then gets established and reflected on the outer. So if your higher self, your inner self, in all its wisdom, is unable to connect to your spirit team, or doesn't have the faith that they are there, even if they, in your current body and situation, are unable to hear and perceive them fully, it's like being adrift at sea. It's that limiting belief of, they're not there. They're never going to help me. And you end up self-sabotaging. You end up undoing the co-creation process that should naturally be there, because you've put limits on it. You've put restrictions on it. You've literally blocked yourself off from it. And it's all because you said, well, in the 3D world, that's not possible. That's not real. Oh yeah, we're going deep. We usually do with this tapestry. So the fact that we had yesterday's video and then now we have this one, I'm not surprised, because the energy's continuing. Some of us are having a crisis of faith. Some of us are becoming aware that, we have inklings that there's another version of reality than what we've currently perceived. But we have this moment where we could self-sabotage and say it's not possible, so it's not real, so we're going to ignore it and, take an abrupt right turn and just forget all about it. And it's us getting in our own way because we've allowed the ego mind to dictate what can and cannot happen, and it halts that co-creation process. And that's a big one, because all of us who have awakened or have had dark nights of the soul, those that continue on the journey to spirituality, of self-discovery, of what actually the universe is in all its laws, wisdom, and understanding its full potential, its full capabilities, have moments like this, even if we have already established some connection to our spiritual team. You are always growing, you are always learning, you are always evolving. To stagnate is to have your soul, in a way, die without dying. So this is always important for everyone when it comes to co-creation, is not to establish boundaries and limits in a way where we stifle our own growth. Do not suffocate yourself, and instead be curious, be willing to learn, keep an open mind. And yes, that means learning how to co-create, learning the proper ways to do that, and then realizing once you learn how, there's a lot of potential there. It's nearly limitless and all different directions. So seeing is believing, yes, in a way, but at the same time, if we put that in the 3D standard of, if I can only see it, touch it, then it's real, and nothing else is, that itself is a limit that we need to avoid, because you are more than just a 3D body. You are a soul in a vessel. You are an infinite soul, unless you are deleted. So you have lived multiple lifetimes. You're just having to relearn the manual that no one wrote down on how all this works. It is one of the most valuable and important lessons you can have in a lifetime. Any lifetime. Doesn't matter what planet it's on, doesn't matter what species you are. It's the most important thing to learn. You are never alone. Alright, which brings us to our obstacle, or how to get over our obstacle. We start off with the Hermit in the reverse. The World in the reverse. And the Hanged Woman in the reverse, which is the Hanged Man in this deck. And I've said this repeatedly throughout this reading. You are never alone. And that's the most important thing. That's exactly what's here. Despite how you go forward and whatever perception and knowledge you have, the things that even are not completed or remain unseen, that unseen world, you are never alone. If we were alone, the card would be like this. But no, it's in the reverse. We are never alone. We are never alone. There are things in the unseen world, and as much as we have maybe some basic understanding of how this universe works, there is always those that are there to guide us, to help us, that will help us learn more. This is what we're discussing today, apparently. And I feel like I'm standing on a soapbox, but you are never alone. And that is how to get over your obstacle, is to realize you are never alone. But that's also the obstacle itself, is that doubt, that you are alone and that there's nobody out there that could possibly be there to help you. That's that crisis of faith moment I keep picking up on. Why? Because if you can't see it, if you can't touch it, and if you've got that limited viewpoint that only what you can see and touch in the 3D realm is the only thing that's real, then that's a challenge to accept and to contend with, that you are never alone. There's things all around you that remain unseen. And it's only through connection to spirit, to your higher self, to the co-creation process, to those things that you may doubt that exist that remain unseen. The fact that you are never alone, that you start to understand and start to see those things. You start to learn, and the world opens up. You go another level deeper. You realize that in the little pond where you lived, it's not just a lake that you see. It's not one drop of water. It's a whole entire ocean. And the depths of it are unseen. And it's not until you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper you realize how deep it is. How vast it is. How limitless it is. And that is exactly what we're talking about. I hope within all the references I have not lost all of you. I did warn you, it's the Three Ships Tapestry. This is usually how deep we go a lot of the time. So, apologies to the new people on my channel because you just got initiated to this tapestry. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here and see how much you guys assimilated of that, if it made any sense at all. I am still in the process of changing my numerology portion. I do hope to have that up in the coming week or so. So, we're going to skip the numerology and we're going to head right into your astrology. For those that like the astrology portion, we have a couple different placements. Mercury in Virgo, trines Uranus and Taurus. So this is where we're thinking outside the box, embrace unconventional ideas, and find new ways to express yourself, especially openly. In this case, this is you opening up to the universe and the potential that maybe you're not alone. Maybe there is something else out there. Maybe instead of just the mundane 3D world of I can see it, I can touch it, and then it's real, there is possibly something else out there, something you can't quantify, something that maybe perhaps you can't quite explain in the ego mind 3D terms. Why? Because man can't exactly quantify that in the ego mind anyway. You're not meant to. So, it's a new way of thinking. Yes, outside the box. In other words, don't put limits on it. The moon enters Cancer. So, yes, this is where we take care of ourselves more emotionally and your emotional needs with this placement. And, of course, trying to find your own emotional stability. I did mention a crisis of faith. And that does usually cause an emotional response. And it's usually one that rocks the boat very much. So, also at that point, I would like to say the moon in Cancer is one that is often associated with spirituality, especially emotions and spirituality. And we do have the lovely Queen of Cups here on the table. So, we are definitely fitting the bill in that case. And then we also have the last quarter moon in a Cancer. So, this is where you clean out all the gunk when it comes to your emotions. And getting help and controlling over your emotional expression. You let go of perhaps some things that have made you more sensitive, more touchy. So if you get triggered, this is, an out-of-a-box way of trying to handle it, figure it out. Hence why we're talking spirituality. You're not alone. Help is always there. All you have to do is ask and be open to receive. It's a different way of moving in the 3D realm because it's not by 3D means. It's by the soul means, a second dimensional means. That's why having that connection, that foundation is very important. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop babbling. We'll see if tomorrow's reading also carries over with this energy, or if this energy dissipates and a new one takes its place. But if you did find prudence in this one, please go back for yesterday's reading, which was awareness, learning, and faith. All right, my lovelies. If this resonated for you, by all means, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. I'm curious as heck. And if it doesn't, no worries. This is a general reading after all. So please take what resonates, leave the rest. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.